Hello, my sewing friends. Here is a collab I did with Sharon from Sharon Sews and Carmen from Carmen Salome. We did McCall's 7969, one pattern, 3 ways. My name is Jen, and I would love to welcome you to my sewing room today. It's my pleasure to have you here. I'm really glad you stopped by. I did a collab with Sharon and Carmen of this pattern, which is McCall's 7969, which apparently is having a moment. If you look at all at Instagram or even YouTube, you know, everybody's making this and reviewing it, and there is every imaginable iteration of it. And so Sharon and Carmen and I decided maybe what we do is, because we are all bloggers in the Minerva blogger network. Minerva is a fabric store in the UK, and so we were all given fabric from Minerva to do a blog post about, and it's gorgeous fabric. And actually I need to do some shopping there because I have my eye on a few things, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet. But I got to tell you, if you live in the US, their shipping worldwide is flat rate, so can't beat that. So we all got our fabric, and then we all decided to make this pattern. Last time we did a collab, we did one fabric done 3 ways with 3 different patterns. This time we did this pattern done 3 different ways with different fabrics. So mine is kind of a saga. I wish it hadn't been, but this dress was kind of an exercise in, I think I want that, and no, I don't, but maybe I want that, but maybe I don't, but oh, let's fix it, and okay, finally it's done. Thank God. Well, I was going to make the maxi, and that's view D. I got the maxi done, and what a nightmare. Oh my gosh, it was awful. It was so awful. So I immediately took pictures, texted Sharon and Carmen, and they both said, cut it off. Don't leave that a maxi. And they were right. So I cut it off, and then I started fiddling around with the sleeves. And the important thing to remember about this pattern and sleeves is that the sleeve for D, C, and B, B, C, and D, those views, that's a different sleeve than the one for view A, which is what you see in the picture. And because of that, you don't, if you want to just put like a binding or elastic at the bottom of the sleeve, you can't get that same effect that you get with view A because it's a completely different sleeve. It's cut completely differently. So I decided, okay, well, first of all, I thought I'd fix the sleeve problem by just putting elastic on the bottoms of the sleeves. And that didn't really do what I wanted it to do. And so I thought, all right, well, I'll cut new sleeves. Fortunately, I had enough fabric left over. So I did. I cut 2 new sleeves and put them on, and it was great. And then I decided, well, I'll put elastic at the bottom because bias binding, which is what this is on the end of the sleeve, tends to want to grab your arm and stay there. And so if it grabs your arm up here, it's not coming down unless you pull it down. And I don't like that. But I did one with a binding and one with elastic, thinking, well, I'll just tear out whichever one I don't like. That elastic looked horrible. Oh my gosh, it looked so homemade. So I thought, no, we're not doing that. So I ended up doing the bias binding, but I didn't have enough fabric to cut this as long as it was supposed to be. You can tell on the picture that this hits this model right at about where this is hitting me, just, you know, I don't know, probably 6 or 8 inches above her wrist. Well, mine was hitting way up here at my elbow, and I didn't like that. And I thought, now what do I do? So I cut a big long rectangle and stuck it in the middle of the sleeve. I know, desperate times call for desperate measures. And I put that on, and then the sleeves were too long. Oh my gosh, I thought, this dress. So I took one of the pieces out, I don't know, one of the ends, I took it off and cut it, the piece, shorter, so that I ended up with the amount of sleeve that I wanted. And to be honest, the sleeves aren't supposed to be draped like this. This is, because I added this piece in, it's not really, I lost some of the shape of the original design of the sleeve. So while these are okay, they're not what it's supposed to be. So yeah, bear that in mind when you look at this. So I made some notes as I went along, and I want to share those with you with regard to the pattern. I do have to say, this fabric is fantastic. I'm so happy that I was able to use this that has a little more body than a rayon challis would have had. Even though I sacrificed a little bit with the drape, I think that the ease with which I was able to construct this, various points along the way, the reason was because the fabric had a little more body than otherwise. If it had been a rayon challis, it would have been a lot more difficult to make the changes that I did. I would have really gotten a much more drapey dress, but at the same time, I didn't sacrifice that much drape to get what I got with this fabric. So highly recommend the fabric, highly recommend Minerva, and I'm really excited to write the blog post about this. So I will try and keep you posted as to when that's going to come out. Okay, M7969. I made a size medium based on my bust measurement, and the finished bust measurement for the dress. So keep that in mind. It's a very loose fitting dress. So you might want to take that into account when you choose your size. It's not made to fit you around the top of the empire waist. It's not. It's supposed to be loose. I put ties on mine because on me, a baby doll dress needs to have some shape, and this didn't. If I untied it, it would just be loose, and that doesn't look nearly as good on me. Okay, so I made the size medium. I lined the bodice. This pattern called for a whole lot of basting and stitching twice, and I didn't do that. I would pin and stitch. I didn't baste because I don't know, I guess I'm far enough along on my sewing journey that I don't always need to do that. And I don't think you really need to do that either, but you know, if you are a beginner, you need to follow the pattern, but I just didn't see the need to do that. And stitching twice, I didn't do because I have a serger right there, and I serged all the seams. Because I did that, that's essentially that second line of stitching. So I didn't stay stitch the neck edge because I had already basted the lining to the bodice to hold it together for when I put the sleeves on and all the rest. So I didn't need to stay stitch. You know, if you were only dealing with one layer, then you would have needed to do that. I would have done that, but I didn't because of that. Rookie mistake. If you lengthen the bodice, which I always do on any empire waisted garment, because I'm longer from my shoulder down to my apex, and so that means that things will hit me like that a lot of times. So I always lengthen it by about an inch. And if you're going to do that on this dress, you need to lengthen the bias binding that goes around the neck, because you won't have enough if you don't. And I didn't, and I had to cut another one. So, you know, oh well. That was the least of my worries actually with this dress. I didn't slip stitch this binding down. I stitched in the ditch, and so essentially top stitched it, and I got a really nice finish on the inside. I went really slow with an open toe foot, and I was careful as I went, and I got a beautiful finish on the inside. This is not loose. It's supposed to be loose. It's supposed to be a loose wrap. And I didn't like that because I can never get a wrap to stay closed. So I just said no. I stitched it down. So it's not going anywhere. Nope. And that's pretty much all I did. I mean, there was a whole lot of stop and start with this pattern. So would I recommend this pattern? Sure. Would I recommend it to a beginner? No. I think there's too much stuff having to do with the way that you have to gather the sleeve into the binding. I mean, it's not terribly difficult, but if you haven't done a fair amount of sewing, it might be really challenging and you might get really frustrated. So in that respect, I would say probably more like an intermediate sewer or a very, you know, well into sewing advanced beginner, I would suggest this for. Cute pattern. Check Instagram because there are so many photos of this pattern done so many ways, and it's so cute that it's having its moment right now. And so in that respect, yes, I would recommend it. Will I make it again? No. I don't love it so much that I want another one, but I think it did turn out really well. I think it's really cute. I love the coral. I love the colors, the vibrant colors in this print. I think that these sections in the sleeve that I added are, you can't even see them because of the print. It just blends in so nicely. And in the end, it's a cute dress. Took a while to get there, but it's a cute dress. So let me know what you think. I would love to hear your thoughts. And so let's talk in comments as usual. And I guess I'll just talk to you there. So that's it for now from me. Be sure that you check out Carmen and Sharon's 2 videos and see how they did with this dress and how they got along with the pattern, because we've been talking with each other and I love their versions. I know Carmen wasn't initially very happy with hers, but because there are 3 of us, we all helped each other and said, well, how about this? How about this? And wow, the results were just fantastic. So yeah, I will put links to their channels and their video in the description box, and I'll try and put it around here somewhere so that you can go check them out. And yeah, I think that's it. So I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.